Hey, it's Wednesday, April the 13th, 2022, and we're here with three guys who love sports at the Red Hill Brewery out here on Delk Industrial Boulevard, joined today by Russ, the Legend Phillips, and Robert, the Encyclopedia Kenny. You like that new nickname?
I do.
I thought you
I'll
might.
go with that.
I got some posts on Robert about how much he knows. As always, this show is to help promote awareness of what's going on with a friend of mine that's got prostate cancer, as well as all the other guys that are suffering from setbacks, that they need a little break and need a little time to talk sports. And that's what we're here for. So, Robert, Russ, welcome back. It's good to have you guys here today. I think we were here 2 weeks ago today, the same guys.
Absolutely.
And of course, we want your opinions too. 470-777-6787 or 470-7sports. Look forward to hearing you. So, first topic of the day is all about the Masters. What did you guys think? Good tournament, bad tournament?
It was a walk away. You know, I never thought that there was a chance that a kid who had never done anything except for win in February was going to be able to walk all over everybody, and that's exactly what he did. He grabbed a hold of it on Thursday, and he never relinquished it. There was really never a chance. Really, the closest anything came was McIlroy on Sunday. McIlroy gave it hell and, tried to come in, but...
Actually, Cam was 3 shots off.
Cam Smith was 3 shots off going into Sunday, yeah. And got within 1 after the third hole. He was 9-8, or second hole, yeah.
But never
Chelsea went down under and stunk it up there soon thereafter.
12, but he's not the first, nor will he be the last person to ever lose the tournament on the 12th hole.
No, I think Spieth, when he was in the lead, did that very same thing and went downhill.
Tiger Woods did the same thing. He had a 10 on 12 a few years ago, too. So, speaking of Tiger, what's more impressive to you, Tiger finishing the week or Scotty Scheffler winning 4 out of the last 6 tournaments?
Both of them are extremely impressive because most people didn't know who Scotty was 6 months ago. But a year ago, you thought Tiger may never walk again, let alone have a leg. So Tiger making the cut and making it through 72 holes, very impressive.
I don't know, because I knew about Scotty Scheffler and his playing of golf, which is impressive. And like I said, he's won tournaments before. I watched him at the Dale Classic, I think that's what it was. Played really good golf. So I thought he had a shot. Tiger Woods, I got up here and said he never would even make it. I said he wouldn't make it over the weekend. And you know what? There were a lot of healthy guys that have been playing a lot better golf that did not make it. But he did, and you kind of felt for him. Especially by Saturday and Sunday, especially Saturdays, it's so cold. You can tell he was really, really hurting. And anyway, but hey, I got something for you though. And I thought about this watching Tiger Woods. Does everybody know that Ben Hogan also had a car accident and did come back either the next year and actually won the Masters after his accident. So. Hey, folks, it can be done, but I'm proud.
I believe Hogan won like 10 straight tournaments after his accident.
He did, yes.
But
anyway.
To me, the whole Tiger story was just, most people say he's not going to make the cut. I didn't think he was going to make the cut. But I will tell you this, I was more impressed that he could walk that course 4 days in a row after he'd only walked it 27 holes and 9 of them were the par 3, so it doesn't matter. But he walked that course 4 days in a row. I walked that course. It's not an easy course for somebody that's in good shape. When I went there, I was in good shape. But it's not an easy course to walk. And just for him to complete the course, and you could tell, or at least I thought he was in a lot of pain, just by watching his facial expressions, and you could see him limp occasionally. And I get a little fed up with the announcers that say, "Oh, Tiger's going to hit this shot. And he's going to be back. Oh, he's got the greatest hands." And then the next shot, he stinks up. So I got a little sick of Tiger. Dottie Pepper following Tiger around when he's 16 strokes off the lead, as opposed to following the leaders. I thought it was a little ridiculous. But it is Tiger, and it's not to diminish anything about what he's done. I think it's amazing, but I'd rather have somebody following the leaders and tell me what's going on.
Well, that's the thing about it is once Tiger started early on Sunday, they actually started talking about Smith, McIlroy, Morikawa.
I agree with what you're saying. But we're talking about Tiger right now, too.
I'm trying not to, by the way.
Well, to me, Scotty Scheffler's feat is pretty amazing. When you win 4 out of 6 tournaments, and you know where he got his start was being selected for the Ryder Cup last year.
Right.
Nobody thought he should be on the Ryder Cup team.
No.
And I think he went 2-0-1 on the Ryder Cup. He did play very, very well.
Yeah.
And he's such a great guy. I don't know if you saw what his wife said about the prayer she prays for him before he goes out on the course. Man, you got to watch it. It'll bring tears to your eyes. It was amazing, amazing. I love watching the Masters. I love the weather changes. My favorite part of the Masters was Colin Morikawa and Rory McIlroy are my 2 favorite golfers in the world. And when they partnered together on Sunday, I was more excited to watch them than I was to see Scheffler, because I thought Scheffler, just like you said, was a cakewalk.
Right.
And although Cam Smith came within 1, I just still think Scheffler was in control. And the pitch he hit on 3 was amazing to get that birdie. But my favorite moment of the Masters was on the 18th when Morikawa and McIlroy both chipped out of the sand for birdies on 18. I'd never seen 18 that electric. It was unbelievable. Both of the golfers were very excited about it. It was a fun tournament to watch. And I like the changes to the weather. I like the different pin placements to give you something new to look at every day.
There's probably not a lot of people who go 0 for 2 on greens in regulation on 18 and both get birdies.
And two, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 holes before that, they both eagled the same hole, which is
incredible.
Which you're thinking, not only did they both hit it out of a sand trap for a birdie, they eagled the same hole too, which I've yet to see anybody in Masters history do that.
Very similar putts too. They were both low, the hole about 15, 20 feet. And they both just rolled them in. To me, if I would have been there on the course, that's the pairing I would have followed.
Right.
I mean, I would love to see Scotty end it all, but I would have watched Morikawa and McIlroy. McIlroy's 2 days younger than my oldest son, so I kind of have an affection for him for that. But there are so many great stories. We didn't even talk about the ceremonial tee shot with Watson and Player and Nicholas. Did you guys watch that?
I did not.
I did, and I'm going to say now that's probably could be Jack Nicklaus' last deal, because you could tell something wasn't right. He was back, hip, something.
He's been doing that for a couple of years, though. He said he had a hard time picking up.
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't say Gary Player. I mean, that dude's going to be 105, still out there doing his karate kick. And anyway, but yeah, I like that. That's what I kind of like about the Masters, is the start of it. And,
I'd set my alarm clock 15 minutes before it's supposed to start every year, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to watch the ceremonial tee shot, because to me that is the start of the Masters. It's just such a special tournament. I have rules that I follow by at my house, that when I work from home, I do not turn my TV on until 5:30. There are 8 days during the year when I break that rule. It's the Thursday, Friday, the Masters, the U.S. Open, the PGA, and the British Open. When the 4 majors are on TV, I'm watching them every minute I can. And I watched every minute of coverage I could of the Masters. I probably watched 100 hours of coverage of the Masters.
Well, I don't know, Chuck. For the first time in my 29 years of marriage, my wife, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I sucked her in for 3 days, and she enjoyed it. I mean, she's not a golf person. She wants to learn how to play golf, but she's retiring, so she wants to learn to play golf. But I was shocked. After 29 years, she finally was in the same room yelling and screaming about 2 golfers. I loved it.
Well, who was she pulling for? Or was she pulling for anything?
Well, she didn't really have a favorite. She was like a shot. She was, because I was having the teacher again, what is that? If they've got like a -9, what's that 13 mean? And I said, well, that's the hole they completed. You know, they're in like playing 14. So anyway, so I had to kind of explain things to her, but she got it. And my daughter seemed to come in there, and she didn't know anything about golf either. So it was just nice to have 2 girls that aren't really sports people that actually watch something together. So yeah, it was nice.
It's a really cool venue, and I've said this time and time again. I don't know if I've said it on here before or not, but I'll tell everybody, until you've walked that course at Augusta National, it's very hard to appreciate the beauty of that course. I even said if there's a golf course in heaven, it's got to be just like Augusta National.
Amen to
It's
that.
beautiful. Well, that's why they have Amen Corner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked last week a little bit about which hole we would like to play if we could play one hole at Augusta National. I'd like to see what you would do. I said 3, just because it's a short par 4, and if I ever had a chance of getting a par at Augusta National, it would be 3.
11.
11? 11's a tough hole.
They're all tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking about that because I was watching the show and I'm thinking, I want where the Saracen Bridge where you got to hit it right over the little lake or river and
12.
Yeah, and you got to land it right on there. And because I saw a lot of people, at least 2 golfers, hit into the azaleas, and I don't know if there was a gnome, up
Kicking
there
it back out.
or what, but it rolled back onto the green, and I thought, wow,
I saw a couple really lucky shots like that.
But I mean, I thought there was a little gnome up there saying you have just interrupted my gnome house, and I'm going to kick that ball back out. But
I don't think they got to the green, but they got down in the side of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
close.
amazing. And when Cam Smith hit the ball in the Rays Creek on 12, I was heartbroken. I like him. I picked him and Scotty Scheffler as my 2 favorites, basically because Scheffler was hot and Cam Smith putted so well at the TPC that I thought he would play well here. Because of similar greens, they're very undulating. A lot of stuff going on those greens at Augusta, just like they were at TPC. But
He did play well.
Huh?
He did play well.
Yeah.
Other than that
he
one
really
hole,
did.
he
Yeah, he
rebounded
really
very,
did.
very well. To take us, I think he took a 6 on that hole.
Yeah.
I just feel for the guys. Even when Spieth did it, and when Tiger did it that year, I just
Never felt worse than Jean-Claude Van de Velde.
Jean Van de Velde. It wasn't
It wasn't no Claude. John Van de Velde.
Somebody should have clawed him right across the head.
And
But,
he kept trying to tin cup that
What
ball.
do you think you'd shoot?
I can't see that.
What do you think you'd shoot it around at Augusta?
What do I think I'd shoot around? I'd shoot everything that came near me. What do I think I'd shoot? Is that Patrick Pennick?
I would
Is that from
probably
Patrick?
be one of those. I would probably be one of those.
Patrick Pennick
I
is
would probably be one of those pros that shoots the 19 over, 20 over.
on one hole.
Yeah, I would never make it.
Yeah, I take
to
20 over
Saturday.
there.
I would never make it to Saturday. They would probably kick me off after Friday.
Yeah, Patrick Pennick, who texted in that question. Patrick's a friend of mine. He hosts a blog every Monday afternoon called the College Fan Buzz Show. I really like participating with Patrick, and I appreciate him texting in. Patrick, if I had to play Augusta National one round, dude, I wouldn't break 150. I guarantee you. And I'm an average golfer. I couldn't break 150. I don't think it's a tough track. But appreciate you texting in. I'd like to know what you would shoot. Or I don't even know if you're a golfer, but I always look forward to tuning into Patrick's show on Monday and being a part of that. Golf is such a cool thing, and I don't watch a lot of it on weekends. And to be honest, sometimes when it's not a major tournament, I'll turn it on just to be able to lay there on the sofa and have something to put me to sleep. But when it's the British Open, which is being played at St. Andrews this year,
Hopefully it's nasty, windy weather.
I hate it.
Tiger's playing, by the way.
Yeah.
He did say he was playing.
I hate it when they come in and they have the British Open and the weather's calm. It's
No, it's awful.
It
awful.
goes against what I like about watching the British Open.
One of
I don't
my
know. I
favorites
wanna-
was about 3 years. No, it was longer, 5, 6, 7 years ago probably, when Tom Watson just kept hitting knockdown 4-irons, and everybody else was in the duff, in the rough, and going back and forth, and Tom was just right down
Right
the middle.
down the middle.
Had
Not long, but right down the middle.
Had that 54-hole lead.
Well, they are playing the Heritage, I think, this weekend at Hilton Head.
Hilton
I
Head.
mean, you go from green jacket to tartan jacket.
Harbour Town. That's a great course.
So there
I've
you
walked
go.
it, never seen it. So just to finish up on rushing, then we'll get Red Hair in here for their minute. I think Jack Nicklaus will be there as long as he can stand. I think he'll always be the ceremonial tee. The three that they had this year, if you saw the hug they gave each other after the ceremonial tee, go back and watch it, Robert. It's pretty special. So on for the Masters. Congratulations, Scotty Scheffler and Rory. I hope to God you get it next year. So Russ, step out and let
Well,
Miss Molly get in here and.
And unless he blows up like he did the other time he was in the league back
Yeah,
4, 5, 6
8 years ago.
Yeah.
We're past that. Come on in, Miss Molly. I had on my Red Hair Brewery shirt, but I said, you know what? Molly will have hers on too. I don't want to look like twins. So did you watch the Masters?
I didn't. I ended up going to some distilleries on the weekend. So
How'd that go?
It went very well. Got some good ideas for what we can do here.
Well, share some of those ideas with us.
Well, we're going to be doing an event space in the back, hopefully sometime soon. So I got some inspiration on what that looks like to a distillery.
Is that going to be our stage?
No stages yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
Maybe not. Maybe in the future.
All right, cool. So what else is going on? I know the bartender mixing contest is coming up on the 23rd.
Yep, so that's coming up on the 23rd. We've sold quite a few tickets for it, so we still have some left if anybody wants to get some. And then we actually just released our tickets for our anniversary. We're 11 years old.
You don't look a day old.
So we're going to be celebrating that on May 14th.
Oh, May
And,
14th.
Yeah, we have a big lineup of bands all day.
Oh,
We
wow.
have some new beer releases, new spirit
Is
releases.
that a Sunday?
It is a Saturday.
Okay.
We
So it's
only
the
do
day
things
before.
on Sundays
It's
or
Mother's
Saturdays.
Day Eve.
I think Mother's Day is actually on the 8th, so it's the week after that.
Oh,
so
is
it's
it?
a good Mother's Day present, actually.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's a
Bring
good
Mom
Mother's Day
out and
present.
give her
Absolutely.
give her a few samples.
I know my mom would like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what else is special going on here? Any new drinks or?
Nope, we're still running with right now the cocktails are whatever the bartenders are thinking is going to beat the other bartender next week for
Yeah.
the big competition. But we're still running the spiced rum, the spiced pecan rum.
And the thing with Pie Bar, is that already done?
It's finished last week. We did that just solely for the spring break. So
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
goodness Cobb County spring break's over and everybody's back in town.
This is a good week for you guys?
It was a slow week for us. It's always slow during that time, but in the Masters, people leave to go to the Masters too. And,
Yeah, I actually got called to go to the Masters but just to pick up something and drove back.
oh, just to pick up something. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on my bucket list.
Oh, to go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I get tickets, I'm taking you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for stepping in.
Yeah, thanks
Always
for
good to
having
see
me.
you.
Good to see you
We'll see you
too.
soon. All right, speaking of masters, Robert is our master of baseball. So we're going to shift a little bit into baseball and talk a little bit what's going on with our hometown world champion Atlanta Braves. Robert, give us an update on where the Braves are and what's going on.
Well, just to let the people know, I manage a baseball team. It's a fantasy team, but that's a
Oh,
different
the Braves,
story.
not
It's a
the
different
Braves,
story.
okay.
But Braves are looking good. You know, it's early in the year. Got 14 games to start the year, so pitching depth is always a problem whenever you have to go in 14 straight days. So we brought up a couple different people. I was actually at the game last night, and one of our unheralded rookies made his major league debut, Elder, and got the win. Pitched really well. You know, sometimes in baseball you can be the number one overall pick and everybody thinks you're the can't miss kid, but then once you get up to the show you can't do anything. Sometimes you fall between the cracks and then they bring you up and you don't know any better that you're not supposed to do well, and you do. So hopefully Elder is going to be around for us for quite some time.
Where'd he play college ball?
I believe Texas.
Texas.
Big old Texas boy.
I'm going with Kyle Wright. I think he was a Vanderbilt guy.
Yeah, he
I think
was.
he's probably going to be our best pitcher. Now my mother, they watch the Braves, and she is just infatuated with the guy that got hurt in the World Series with an ankle. I can't think
Charlie Morton?
Charlie Morton. Thank you, sir. Yes, she is infatuated with him. I said he's a good pitcher, but I'm a Kyle Wright fan. He looked good the other night.
Now he's a rookie, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
He was pitching in the
he
College
was
World
really-
Series last year, wasn't he?
Not Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright's actually, I believe, had some games for the last
Yeah,
couple
I
of
think he
years,
was hurt.
but his numbers are still
Yeah.
low enough to where he still classifies
Yeah.
as a rookie.
Okay, maybe
Yeah,
I'm thinking
I think
of
he
somebody
got
different.
hurt. If I'm not mistaken, he got hurt.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Kyle Wright pitched a little bit in the 2020 postseason
Maybe
Oh wow.
so, yeah.
Okay.
against the
But,
Dodgers.
I kind of like him.
And he's a Vanderbilt guy, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Dansby and him played together. I think they did. I'm not for sure, but I think Dansby was on the same team when they won the World Series.
I don't think I'm aware that Dansby went to Vanderbilt.
He did.
He did.
He did.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. So the Braves are what, 3-4 now? They
Correct.
lost this afternoon.
That's correct.
Larry, the engineer, says, and so they 14 games in a row. That's a lot to start a season without an off day.
That's really rough, and it can, like you said, tax the starting pitching as well as the bullpen. So having and the other guy that we're working out this year, he's a rookie. He's got the 1970 mustache. I'll let you figure out what kind of mustache that
Lolly
was.
Fingers mustache.
No. It's more of a low budget film
I've seen that. It
mustache.
looks like he's a pimp that dresses
yes,
up like
Pimp
a
is
pimp
kinda like that
just
movie I was
dressed
talking
up
about.
Just came out for baseball.
But
movie, yeah.
he is throwing at about 100 miles an hour, and although we thought originally he was only going to be a one-inning guy, they've been stretching him out each time he comes out. So the last time he got over 65, 70 pitches in. So he's somebody looking forward. That Spencer is his name.
And my new first baseman is tearing it up. He can't run worth a dang on the.
My new first baseman.
Yeah,
Did you buy the team?
I did. It's right. I did. I picked
I thought I was the
picked
manager.
guy. I picked the guy.
Well, you're the manager.
So
He
I'm
owns
the
the
owner.
team.
You're the
he's a-
manager. I'm the owner. So anyway, we picked the guy, but Olsen, he can't run too good because he got thrown out at home twice. I watched one game; he was thrown out twice. So he can't run, but boy, he can hit the ball.
That's
So.
just a third base coach thing. Now that he's sent him and he's gotten him busted twice at home, he's going to hold him the next couple times when it looks that way.
Probably will.
There you
Ron
go.
Washington will have that
would've
taken
thought-
care
I
of.
would
Not
have
a
done it
problem.
both times.
So, what do you think about the new DH rule? How's that working out?
I don't like it at all. I'm kind of a purist when it comes to it. If you're a manager right now, you just set up a lineup and you can go take a nap, eat some pretzels, whatever you want to do. A year ago, you actually had to put some thought process in, switches, lefty on lefty, whatever the case may be. All that's gone, so I'm kind of saddened by it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm like you. It's not just baseball. I'm a sports purist. I like things the way they used to be. I don't like free agency and transfer portals and all that stuff. They've ruined sports, in my opinion, for college with the transfer portal. But are there any other new rules? I know at one time they were talking about expanding the size of the base. That didn't go through, did it?
That did not go through. The one extra rule that I know went in that was passed this year, but it will not go into effect until next year, is everybody's favorite, the shift. So
enough of this shift.
The shift has got to go.
Amen to that.
But I'm not sure exactly how they police it, but basically you have to be on the right side of your base.
So in other words, the shortstop has to be on the third base side. second base.
Austin Riley will not be playing short right field while Dansby is manning the left side by himself.
And I think that's I've played baseball. I have played for, baseball. That I've watched college go to that. I mean, it's like if you're a good, smart hitter, just hit it right there. It'll
Bunt
be base
it.
hit every time.
It's almost like the
Every
softball
time.
bunt.
It is
If they just throw the bat out there.
nonsense.
Get
It's
the first.
nonsense.
People getting paid that type of money to play a game ought to be able to hit the ball anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Well, I just want the coaches to start coaching again and say, hey, you got to actually get your gloves 6 inches and see some dirt and throw the guy out. I mean, just don't get me on the switch. That's just, I'm trying to be nice, Chuck, tonight. I'm trying to
You're
be
talking about on the
nice.
shift, not
Oh,
the
yeah.
switch. Right?
Switch, shift, whatever
Switch,
it's
that's a
called.
Seinfeld thing. That's a totally different thing.
But I'm with you. I hate the shift, but at the same time, if batters would just take the gimme to the easy side of the infield, then you wouldn't have a shift anymore. They would
That's right.
have to move back to their normal positions.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a game, it wasn't Atlanta, but a guy actually did a kind of a bunt hit and
Swinging
went
bunt?
right that way. I mean, it's like, I'm thinking, hello.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
It should be easy to do, unless somebody's throwing the ball 100 miles an hour, like you got said. That's I hear the argument all the time that that's the hardest thing to do in a sport is to hit a baseball going 100 miles an hour, much less to hit a baseball with any speed.
I don't think I can see it.
It's a lot different than hitting something that's sitting on a tee that's not going anywhere,
Correct.
even though it's still a great talent.
I don't know. There's some major league hitters I don't think could actually hit it on a tee.
Yeah.
There's some that I swear you put it up there, they would strike out.
Chris Davis.
Is he still playing?
He's
Is he
still getting
with
paid.
Baltimore?
He's still getting paid.
Is he with Baltimore?
Absolutely. As long as he shows up, he gets paid. Him and
Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla
Bobby
are
Bonilla doesn't even have to show
personal
up.
favorites of mine.
Bobby doesn't have to show up to get
He
paid.
gets
the
paid for
next
another 10 years.
or whatever. Yeah.
Another 10.
Yeah, I told you we're on the same page.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Baseball's just starting off, and so we'll be talking about baseball a lot in the coming months. For now, tell me, what's your favorite stadium you've ever been to and why? For a baseball game.
I've been to a lot of stadiums. I would say Fenway. I'll give you three that are my favorite. I'll say Fenway, Old Milwaukee County Stadium, and I'll say the new one out in San Francisco. I can't even. They've changed that name a couple times.
What's
the
Pac
one?
Bell or something
Correct,
like that? I don't know what it
correct.
is
Where
now.
you can hit it out into the bay.
Into the bay.
They're all beautiful spots.
San Francisco. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful stadium just on TV. I can imagine going to
I
it.
used to wear my Galarraga jersey everywhere and go to all these stadiums, and there was only one time where I thought I might not make it out alive, and it was in San Francisco, and it was actually a woman hounding me. So
Was it still Candlestick Park then?
No. It was
the new
stadium.
stadium. Yeah.
Well, if you go to minor league baseball,
Love that.
the Lookouts they built their stadium on the Tennessee River, and it's similar to San Francisco, where you can actually hit it in the Tennessee River.
Absolutely.
Quite
Durham Bulls shout out. I love all minor league baseball. Those stadiums are worth the event.
The
worth
Chattanooga
trip.
Lookouts, the original Chattanooga Lookout Stadium was it. I like the new stadium. I've been to both, but
I don't know. A lot of the newer stadiums are just alike. I mean,
Absolutely.
From a structural standpoint, I was very fortunate to be able to go to Fenway and go to Wrigley in the same month one year. I didn't know I was going to go to Wrigley when I got to Fenway. I got a friend that has season tickets, 10 rows behind the third base dugout in Fenway. And I walked in there and I was just blown away by the sight of the Green Monster and just the whole aura of the Red Sox. I was a big Rico Petrocelli fan, and what was the catcher's name? God, that I love so much.
Veritek?
No, Jason, before Veritek. He wasn't a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, but I like that. It'll come to me. He hit a home run.
Fisk.
Carlton
Yes.
Fisk. Thank you.
Stay fair.
Yeah,
Stay fair.
Yeah, there you go, Carlton Fisk. But then when I just thought Fenway was heaven until I got to Wrigley Field, and I walked in for a night game. The World Cup was actually there the same week I was there up on business, and so traffic was very, very heavy. So I got to the game like middle of the second inning, but I got a seat like 15 rows behind the Cubs dugout for $10, and sat there and just was amazed at Wrigley Field at night, and everything that I'd ever seen on TV and stuff. Holy cow! No, that was Phil Rizzuto. What did Harry Carey say?
Yeah. Holy cow!
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
What else didn't he say? Yeah.
Right.
So I love
What
Harry
didn't he
Carey, the whole thing. But when you talk about minor league baseball park, there is one in Frisco, Texas, called Dr. Pepper Field. Have you ever been there?
I have not.
It is the coolest minor league park I've ever been to. They've got condominiums lining the foul lines going out into the outfield that you can buy and live in these condominiums. And then there's seats like out to the first base,
that
but everything
would not be
beyond that
good.
is condominiums.
Wow.
And it was just the coolest baseball park I believe I've ever been
I
to.
don't know. I was in, and now they don't play in there, but when the Braves were in Richmond, I went by their stadium and they had an Indian coming out. Almost like he was pushing. It was foul, thinking I'd never seen anything like that.
Was it Chief Knockahome?
I don't know who it was, but they had got an Indian, and he was kind of like rising up out of the. I thought that was absolutely impressive.
I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, and Bill Murray owns the team out there, the River Dogs.
Yeah.
And so there's always something cool happening in between each inning. Just minor league baseball's fun.
It's the promotional part of the game.
Absolutely. I've got a friend going to the Durham Bulls tonight.
Oh, do you really?
I do.
I watched the Kevin Costner movie after the Masters, and it's just so funny. I thought the Durham Bulls. I wondered if they were, because they used to be an Atlanta Braves farm system team.
Durham did?
Yeah, Durham Bulls were
Durham
with
Braves.
the Atlanta Braves.
Correct.
And now I think they're with the Tampa Bay Rays. I think
That is
that's who
correct.
their- who
That's
their
correct.
team
Franco
is
just came
affiliated
through.
Julio Franco?
Wonder.
Who is Juan DeFranco?
Wander Franco is the best person that none of you have ever heard about. He's a shortstop. He came up last year playing for the Rays, and after his half-a-season debut, he's on these lists, and they're the dumbest lists. You know, statisticians can come up with only person to hit this many doubles with this many triples and stand on his foot all successfully. This guy is on so many lists that the only other person on the list is Mickey Mantle. And I don't care how you want to divide something. If you can come up with 30 different lists where the only names on it are yours and Mickey Mantle,
That's
you're
pretty special.
probably doing something right.
That's
So
pretty special.
Wander Franco,
What was
in
his
case
name again?
Wander Franco, he is the starting short. Wander.
W-A or W-O?
W-A.
Wander. Hey, you'd wander all over the field.
You
Wanderlust.
gave me something to Google when I get home and get my iPad out.
Wander Franco.
Franco.
He's unbelievable.
Well, speaking of wandering, we're going to talk a little bit real quick about an event that we've got coming up in September. Me and Engineer Larry put on an event called Karaoke. Karaoke is an event that takes care at Cobb International Airport up here in Kennesaw. And what we do is raise money for the firefighters of Georgia through the Terry Farrell Firefighters Fund. So what we do is we empty a hangar. We have an airplane face the hangar, and we have a stage wrapped around the nose of the plane, and we have 400 people in the audience. Randomly call 40 up to do karaoke. 4 people come back for the finals, and somebody wins $1,000. Pretty cool event. We have live judges, but the whole premise of the show is to come sing and bring all your friends with you to vote for you. They can vote by phone as long as they are at the event. Not only do we have karaoke, but we have a silent auction there. We have food trucks and ice cream trucks, Sweet Sensations with my buddy Greg Zierfoss. And we also have, hopefully, Red Hill Brewery's coming back. They were there last year, and hopefully they're going to be back this year, too. But a lot of fun. It's a great way to raise money for the firefighters. It's different than any fundraiser you've ever seen. It's not a 5K. It's not a golf tournament. It's karaoke. We'd love for all of you to come out. $20 for a ticket. You can sign up to sing, or you can sign up to be an attendee at karaoke.org. Make sure you choose the attendee button if you only want to attend. Make sure you choose the singer button if you want to sing. If you choose to sing, you can pick 5 songs that you'd want to sing, and we'll pick one of them for you to sing, only because we don't want 30 people singing The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, and then you can choose the song you want to sing in the finals. So look forward to having everybody out. Go to karaoke.org and get signed up now to sing, or at least participate. Russ, you look like you had something to say.
I know. I could carry a tune in a bucket, so I'm not singing.
Well, good, but I expect you to be there, though. All right, so karaoke's out of the way. There is so much more going on in sports this week. Let's touch base on some other things that are going on. The USFL starts this week. And I think it was us that talked 2 weeks ago, right?
I've been telling everybody about the new kickoff rule. It's one thing to score 3. It's another thing to go for 4th and 12.
Well, I guess in the sense it is 4th and 12.
It's how Mummy's got to be coaching. That's why they put that rule in there. He's coaching. Got to be coaching.
There are college coaches I know that never punt. They go for it 4th down every time they go to the field.
Absolutely, but the part that I've been thinking about ever since we did the last show and talked about it is if you have a tax defense and they are just worn out, at least they used to be able to come off the field for that one play where you were doing the onside kick. Now they don't ever get to leave the field, so you could actually have a 24-0 lead and never see the ball back in the 4th quarter where somebody just comes back and routes you.
That's an interesting point. That
the defense can never get a break.
the defense could never bring it back. You could score a field goal and come back and do the onside kick.
And going back to what we're talking about, on extra points, you could go with extra point for a normal one, or 2 from the 2, or 3 from the 10. So they don't even get that play off if you choose. You can keep them on the field for every play. Make for some tired.
If you had a team that could definitely pick up 12 yards every play, in fact, the one team may never get the ball the whole game.
No, there's a good chance your defense could just get burned out and you'd never get the ball back.
Never get it back, never get it at all.
Well,
if the first team that gets the ball scores, and you say, we're going to go for 4th and 12 from the 33, and we're going to get it every damn time. and they go down and score again. Say, well, you know what? It worked once, so let's do it again. They're going to go back to the 33 and get another 12.
Maybe I should go coach that way, because that's what I would do. I mean, I would take it.
I would pay money to see you coach that
Fourth
way.
and 12, we're going for it, buddy.
Well, you know
We're
what?
going for it.
Speaking of that, you know, the whole USFL takes place in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. For those of you, Georgia, you don't know what's going on over in Alabama. It's in Birmingham, Alabama. So all 3 games are going to be played, and I think it's at the UAB Blazers football stadium. So all 3 games are going to be played on a Saturday. And what do you think it would cost to go see all 3 of these games?
Ooh,
You could probably walk in free.
No, I actually saw ticket prices. $18
$18 for 3
to
games.
see 3 football games.
There's a few people in Alabama who have already bought season tickets for that one.
I guarantee you. Listen, I think I would like to go one Saturday just to check it out. Rusty's saying no. Rusty's not a USFL guy.
Because I am pulling for the,
He's not on the bandwagon.
for the Memphis, I think, Bombers. I'm hoping they resurrect Pepper Rogers and set his dead carcass to the sideline.
I have never thought about what you talk about, Robert. I think I'm even now more intrigued than I was before. I'd like to see a team that never got their offense on the field.
Or never got their never actually get their defense off the
Never get
field.
their defense.
I mean, that would be very interesting because, I mean, because your defensive coordinator sitting there screaming and yelling to stop somebody, and you I haven't thought about that.
But-
You made
but-
me think about
So if you go back to every NFL game you've ever seen a comeback where you put the prevent the win defense in, now all of a sudden when you put the prevent the win defense in, this is what it's going to cause. It's going to be a ripple effect where they may never come off, which could lead to better defense.
Yep.
Because they're not going to go into that shell because they saw what happened last week.
Yep.
Who knows?
This is very
So
entertaining.
I may watch that on TV just to see what
I want
actually
to see
happens.
I want to see it happen and hear everybody talk about it. That's what I want. One defense to never get on the field, or one offense.
Yeah, everybody just be hanging out on the sidelines, feet up.
Yeah, because if their defense is on the field the whole game, offense is never going to see the ball.
No.
I would
Just
never-
stay home.
You can call all the plays you want. You're not running any of
There
them.
will probably be a lot of defensive coordinators fired after the first week.
Would that change? Would that change the game? If that happened, you'd say, okay, well we got to revisit this
So-
4th and 12 rule from the 33.
So unfortunately, I can't never turn this off. So I've been thinking about it, like I said, for 2 weeks. The one thing that you did say when you were going over the rules was the pass interference. It's not at the point. It maxes out at 15 yards, which you would have to do.
Unless you literally tackle somebody down the field beyond
Correct.
15 yards. Yeah.
Correct, but that's to probably try to help those defenses, because if you were giving them spot penalties and they never had to kick off or do anything, it could be ugly. It could be ugly.
I want it to happen so much now. I just want to see this happen.
It will.
I don't know.
I might pay $18 to see
Hey, I would pay $18 to never see a team make the field. I think that would be the most hilarious thing that ever happened in sports. I've seen some bloopers and I've seen some stuff, but to me, that would be the most entertaining football game I've
I mean,
could you-
where
could
they're
you
dragging
see
the
the
defensive
fans?
players off
I mean, think
one by
about
one.
seeing the fans of that team going, my God, my offense never got out there to score. What the hell is going
They
on?
never got the ball. How can they score? Hey, could they beat the 222 points that Georgia Tech scored against Cumberland College?
They could not do that, but I guarantee it, if the defense was ever out there long enough, you'd see some of those offensive players where all of a sudden wide receivers coming to play cornerback because the cornerback can't run anymore.
They might as well put them out there, let them
Yep.
do something.
Do something.
Put on a skirt and
You're not
cheer or
doing
something.
anything else.
That was
You
crazy.
might get 222, 223.
That's a tough one.
I mean,
There was never a third down in that game.
Nope, never was.
Never a third down.
No,
222.
that's crazy. All right, we talked more about the USFL than I thought we would. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA, because the Hawks play tonight. Robert's got his Trae Young jersey on.
Absolutely.
You know, isn't this the first year that they've had to play in games as opposed to having just the first
Last
two eight
year.
played 8-1? Oh, they did it last year.
They did it last year.
Tell me how that works, because there's 12 teams that make,
2
right?
years ago too. And,
Oh, in the bubble.
In the bubble.
They did it in the bubble in 2020, and then they brought it back out last year. So what they have, instead of it just being top 8,
But it
8
used to be
plays-
8 versus 1, 7
Correct.
plays 2. yeah.
Correct. So now what it is 7 and 8 play in a one-game playoff.
7 and 8?
7 and 8, and 9 and 10. Whoever wins the 7-8 game becomes the 7 seed automatically.
Okay.
The loser of the 7-8 game has to play the winner of the 9-10 game.
To become the 8 seed.
Correct.
Wow.
So the Hawks have to win tonight and then beat the Cavs for the right to become the 8 seed and travel to Miami. I'm going to go ahead and say the over-under is 4 wins for the Atlanta Hawks. I believe they will win tonight. I believe they will beat the Cavaliers. And I don't know about the 1 seed Heat, but I think we can beat them a couple times. So I'm going with 4 games at least.
All right, I'm confused. Go ahead, Ray.
I mean the Heat, though. I mean, I've watched. This is the first year I've really watched pro basketball, and the Heat look really, really good. I mean, they're really, really good. But you got what the Phoenix Suns and out of the West that's really good. I'm just happy that LeBron James and the Lakers are nowhere near, and now he's wanting to go somewhere else, and they fired their coach. So that's always nice, you know. But
I didn't even know the coach's name. I heard he got fired. I'd never heard of the guy. Yeah.
Most coaches, you can recognize their name, do not want to coach with LeBron
I agree.
because he's kind of in charge of the whole show.
Right.
Yep, he is. He is.
But,
So for some reason, I looked in the standings and they had like 12 teams in there, but it's only 10.
That's
to get
correct.
in.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
10 per conference, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So 10 plays 9 to get the 8th spot.
10 plays 9 to play the loser of the 7-8 game
To get
for
the
8th spot.
But no doubt the 7/8 winner is going to get the 7th spot.
That is correct.
And then there's 3 teams left that have a
and
shot
the,
at it.
and the loser of that game will get one more shot at the apple, and they will get home court. So,
Okay.
so that game will be in Cleveland.
yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Hawks have got a good shot. I mean, you know, but the Hawks are, to me, are kind of like the Bulls were when Jordan first came out. How Trae Young goes is how the Hawks will go.
Absolutely.
If he's not playing good, they're not very good. But if he is on fire and can get the team around him, they should go along. I mean, what was it? A year or two ago, they were close to making it into the finals.
Last
wasn't
year.
they?
Last
They
year.
they had it.
Philadelphia.
They had it and then lost it at the
Philadelphia.
end.
Beat Philly. That's
So,
right. They almost beat
yeah.
Milwaukee, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
they almost made it last year to the finals. I wish the Hawks ownership would do kind of like what the Chicago Bulls did and surround Trae Young with good players like a Scottie Pippen type and players like that. I think the Hawks could be really, really good.
Hawks are good, and Trae Young is definitely one of the top 10 players in the world. So, you know, hey, when you've got him, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
But anytime you've got that, and this is the same argument they have for baseball, for football, when you pay the top guy all that money, how hard does it get to get the support players?
Oh, it does.
Correct.
It's huge.
And I will say this for this whole playoff play-in, in the NBA and in the NHL, there are so many games for playoffs. This is just a little bit more of a revenue getter for the league. It is nearly impossible for one of these play-in teams. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, you got to win 2 games just so you can go against a number 1 seed. Most likely that has been stacked against you so far that, you know, it's not really attainable, but it makes for some interesting headlines on a Wednesday.
It does
Yeah,
make
and plus nobody watches NBA basketball anyway. Their revenue on TV is down a lot. So, I mean, they've got to do something to create people to watch it.
Well, it's just like adding a playoff game in football or expanding the wild card in baseball to one more team. It's just another way to keep a fan base interested for a day or 2 longer.
I agree with you, but I'll say that in NFL and in baseball, I think those teams have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is too taxing, the 7-game series, 7-game series, 7. Sooner or later, being in a playing game is going to be too much for you.
Well,
Yeah.
too, you got to add injuries in there too. A sprained ankle here and there, and you know that team that just won could go back, and Trae Young could twist his ankle again, and you're dead. So
Yeah, well,
it ought to be
injuries are part of any
I'm going to
game.
pull for the Hawks. I think they're going to. I think they could win 2 games and play the
So
Heat.
I got a question for you, Russ. Is your NBA prognosis ability any better than your
No,
college?
no. I don't watch enough. Well, Chuck, I don't watch enough of it to make a prediction.
I got
But
that.
I'm going to go with when it comes to
There you
Georgia,
go.
I'm going to go
You're
with
a
I'm a homer. And it's like, I used to watch the Hawks a lot, especially when they had Dominique Wilkins and Tree Rollins. And, You know, once
John Drew.
I mean, once the crybabies begin to play basketball, where
Did
it's
Pistol
my
Pete
toe
play
hurt.
for the Hawks?
He did.
Absolutely.
He did. He played for the Milwaukee. I think the Milwaukee.
No, he was with the Jazz originally.
Yeah.
That's correct.
New
That's
Orleans
correct.
Jazz. right?
Came to a matter of fact, I was watching a YouTube game, and his game was on it when he played for the Hawks.
Pistol Pete's numbers, I saw this, I believe, last year. I believe he finally was passed, so he's now the second highest all-time scorer in college basketball history. But when he played, he only played 3 seasons, so he's had the number 1 for 50 years.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I would
chance in
have
Atlanta.
loved to have seen him with the 3-point line. Oh, he would have lit.
And
it
he
up.
did that without a 3-point
Yes,
line.
he did. He
Wow.
would have scored 100 about every night.
He'd still have the record.
So you know who Mike Glenn is, right?
Absolutely, he was on that.
I
same
guarded
team.
Mike Glenn in high school. He went to Coosa High School in Rome, averaged 42 points a game against us. He came across 3-court line firing, and there was no 3-point line, but he was amazing. Speaking of amazing, we got Steve Pearson on the phone calling in to give us his take. Steve, how were you at the 3-point line? Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Other than you, he's probably the best pure shooter I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you might want to check your recollection, Chuck. Anyway, on your baseball, I think it's too early for me to get too excited about baseball. I haven't watched a single pitch this year, I don't think. I agree I could do without the DH, but that's not going to happen. The fans like scoring. The fans don't like to see pitchers that get in. I wish that pitchers could actually hit like in the old days, but that's not going to happen. None of that on your Masters discussion. It's always a great tournament. I thought it was a little anticlimactic this year, but I watched most of it anyway on Sunday. As far as baseball, people like Stanley, people like Wrigley. I'm into both. They're certainly nostalgic. There's something to say about the old stadiums, but they're not a great place to watch a game. I mean, at Wrigley, you got a lot of seats that are behind poles. I did not go. I was fortunate to have great seats at Fenway, but if you're in the outfield, you're facing third base. If you're in the right field stand, so in terms of the places that I've seen were a great place to watch a game. Camden Yards over there, I watched the Orioles, which that's not so great. You talked a little bit about Carlton Fisk's home run. I guess that was in Game 6.
Game 6, 1975.
Yeah, the Red Sox lost Game 7. So, quite honestly, I think that may be the most overrated play in baseball.
The Reds won Game 7.
Yeah, the Red Sox lost Game 7.
That's correct. That's correct.
So, it was a dramatic ending to Game 6 that didn't really materialize into anything more than second place. So, I just always wondered why they didn't play why they didn't play in so much press when there were so many other great walk-offs. I guess the Mazeroski home run, they don't have much tape on, so.
1960.
Yeah. I usually heard of Wander Franco, one of the few people that have, even though I'm not watching much baseball. I hadn't heard that he's on lists with Mickey Mantle, but Andrew Jones was on a lot of those lists, and he turned out to be a decent player, but he was no Mickey Mantle. Yeah, I had a couple of fraternity brothers that were probably on some of the same lists as Mickey Mantle in terms of how many bars they hit in their life. So maybe that works. You guys are nuts about talking about this hypothetical USFL stuff. I mean, first of all, Chuck, if you have a team that can get 12 yards every play, they're going to win anyway. It's not like they're going to. And they're not going to go for it if they're up 3 touchdowns.
But I want to see him do it, Steve.
That's like saying if
Hey, I would. I don't care if I'm
hit by 3 touchdowns. Yeah, we would go for it on 4th and 12.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Whatever. With the NBA, I actually do like the play-in format. I didn't think I would, but I like it. I would, the 8 seeds don't beat 1 seed very often anyway. So, this gets a little excitement to try to at least get a chip and a chair during the regular season, and it's kind of an interesting little format. And, you say, well, one team, all they have to do is win 1 out of 2. Well, in the old days, they would have been the 8 seed. And now they have an actual chance to be a 7 seed. Whatever. I don't like, you said the over-under on the Hawks was 4?
No, that's my personal over-under. I think they're going to win 4 games.
If I were going to take the over-under Vegas with 4, I'd have to take the under.
Well, sure.
Just got too many things. There's too many ways they can be one and done.
Sure.
And as you mentioned, the second game's on the road. And winning in the NBA is tough on the road. It's funny how the NBA playoffs work. You don't always have the best team win, but it's usually that win. Whereas, the other sports championships, in the NFL, a team can get high and win, and they can be the wild card and be, the 6th or 7th, 8th best team. And with the Braves kind of proved last year, they probably weren't, they were probably at best the 3rd best team in the National League, let alone, in Major League Baseball. But if you get hot, you can win a series and stay hot and win another series. So it just doesn't happen that much in the NBA. The blue chips tend to hold serve in the NBA and the championship. Every once in a while you'll get one to get hot, but you very seldom see a team come from a 6, 7, or 8 seed. And that might be able to do that this year with Kyrie and Durant both playing and both healthy, but I still don't like their chances. But that's all I had, Chuck.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you calling in. We're going to rebut to what some of the stuff you got to say, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Bye. So he was talking about stadiums. My one thing, he's right about Wrigley Field. There are some bad seats there.
Oh, sure.
But the worst stadium I've ever been to was at Shea Stadium. I had some Pepsi box seats. And when they say box seats, I could barely fit in the seat. I mean, literally, I'm not a huge guy, but my butt could barely fit between the arms of these seats. And these were supposed to be the primo seats. I mean, they're like this wide.
And when you parked to go in the stadium, it was right on the side of the runway from JFK.
From the other one.
LaGuardia.
Yeah, LaGuardia. Yeah. Yeah, so I got that to say about poor baseball stadiums. Shea was probably the worst one I've ever been to.
And he said something about Camden Yards, and Camden Yards was actually designed by a woman, and it was the first one that went with that retro look. So everything that we all think is cookie cutter now is basically all based off of Camden Yards.
Turner Field was the same way.
Absolutely. Camden Yards and Turner Field were very similar.
Well, a woman always is a good designer, so, they probably...
I don't know about baseball fields. But
but hey, she designed it, now everybody else is wanting to mark it. So, so she had it,
Oh, you guys got anything else to add?
No.
All right,
Go Hawks!
Hang on. Your national champion football team will be playing their G-Day game Saturday the 16th. So if you want to come see a real winner play,
let me rephrase
Do I have to get into
Let me say something. I said anything important else going on.
that's important. G-Day is important.
Hey, one thing that is important, we want to tell you a little bit real quick about next week's show. Next week is going to be all about sports memorabilia. So we want to hear about what your favorite sports memorabilia you have is and the story behind you getting it. Tim Henderson and Jason Alexander will be joining me next Wednesday to talk about sports memorabilia and the fun behind the stories. But until then, Robert, Russ, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming.
Guys, know your numbers. Cover your ass. Get your prostate checked. See you next week.
Peace out, Loretta.